What's going on, CDL fans? Maverick here with the first of my weekly power rankings for the Call of Duty League. This is my power rankings as of February 3rd. Technically, I'm recording this on the 2nd, but the video is going to go out on the 3rd. So just know this is the power rankings after the kickoff before week 1 of matches opening weekend. I'm going to be doing these weekly power rankings for the CDL every single week. So pretty much after, a weekend of matches or after a major, I'm going to do an updated power ranking showing you where I have all the teams currently based on that. What I want to do with this is similarly to, professional sports leagues like the NBA, where it's very reactionary. So like, obviously we know like FaZe are a really great team, and I could just put FaZe at 1 like every week because we know how great they are. But let's say FaZe has a really bad week. I want to drop them. I want to make this a reactionary, entertaining type of rankings where you never really know where anyone's going to be. So with that being said, these first rankings are somewhat based off of the kickoff event, somewhat based off of our expectations and stuff from last season. So these are the least reactionary of all the weekly ones we're going to be doing going forward throughout the season. Hopefully you enjoy this little graphic thing I made for this. It'll be a pretty cool way of showing where I have the teams and how I have them ranked. Also, make sure to like the video, help me out in the algorithm. If you love the CDL and you want to see more content, subscribe down below. And yeah, with that being said, let's hop into our first team, which we have in 12th, which is the London Royal Ravens. Unfortunately, I think we kind of all know who the bottom 2 teams are in the league. I put London in last place simply because they have more rookies, so they're less experienced than the team we have above them. But I do think London has room to grow, but I feel like there is a pretty big drop-off between, London and the team above them in 11th, which is the Paris Legion, and pretty much the rest of the league. These 2 teams just, it's going to be tough. Like, the Ravens have a lot of rookies, which could be a good thing because these young players have been showing out in recent years, and Paris has a lot of veterans who maybe are past their prime at this point. So you never really know what you're going to get from either of these teams. I think either of these teams could have a big shocker where all of a sudden they're, in the top 8 or something like that. But with that being said, so far, I think I'm going to have them at 12 and 11. Then moving on to number 10, maybe a surprise for some people, but I have Boston. I think Boston looks really good in scrims. The stuff I've seen from like CDL, scrim intel on Twitter and stuff, Boston usually looks pretty good, but personally I kind of like all the other rosters I have above them better, and I think they're going to be overall a better squad as we go into this season. Coming in at number 9, I do have the LA Gorillas. If you saw my match prediction video, which I actually just released today on the 2nd, which would have been yesterday for you when you're watching this, if you're watching this on the 3rd, I have the Gorillas beating the Breach, so I had to put them above them, I think, in the rankings. I feel like that makes sense, right? If I have them beating them, I should probably have them above them in the rankings. I just think Gorillas has a stronger veteran squad than the Breach, and they have, more players that have been consistently in the league than obviously Boston. So I'm going to go with LAG at 9. At number 8, I have the Minnesota Rocker. I feel like you could argue they could be a spot higher than the team I have right above them, but I personally kind of think that the team I have above them edges them out slightly a bit in terms of just being a better overall team. We obviously will see as the season goes on. Minnesota did have a great major win last year, a pretty good run at the finals, at the champs. So I do think Rocker are a solid squad. They obviously didn't make a roster move, so they still have that chemistry and that teamwork. I do think they will have some good runs this season, but overall I think they are really like a middle of the pack type team. Then we move on to number 7, which I have the Florida Mutineers. Like I said, I think Florida's a little bit better than Rocker, even though they just brought in a rookie. They did make roster changes. I just think Skies is honestly like a monster. I really like the way Vivid plays on the map, and I feel like right now I would take Florida over Minnesota if they were in a series against each other. But I think Florida, similarly to Rocker, could have some big runs this year and have some good matches. But overall, I still think they are also a middle of the pack type team. Now we move into the top 6, which is where it gets really interesting. I feel like these top 6 teams are the top 6 teams, but the way people have them in order obviously could be different. For me personally, at number 6, I have Optic Texas. As much as I would love to put Optic higher, I believe this team on paper can be really good. Every single year, I believe in this Optic roster, and it doesn't really pan out the way anyone wants it to. So I'm just going to stop, using that fan bias a little bit in my rankings and my predictions, and I'm going to try and keep it as realistic and as unbiased as I possibly can. So with that being said, I'm putting Optic at number 6. I think the 5 teams above them are better, and I am going to put Optic there. At number 5, I have New York subliners. I think the subliners edge out Optic currently at this current state, even though Optic does look really good in scrims. I currently just think the subliners are a little bit better, and they perform better at the kickoff event. So that's why I have them at number 5. I think Hydra is going to be an absolute animal this season. He was great last year. I think this year he's going to be even better. He's going to be one of those top 5 players in the league. And I just think that subliners fit perfectly at number 5. Now into the top 4. You all know what teams are left, but what order am I going to have them in to start this season? At number 4, I have the LA Thieves. I think LA Thieves can be a top 3, top 4 team all year long. I really do like this roster, and I think they could do a lot of great things, but there might be some inconsistencies there, or who really knows what's going to happen. Obviously, LA Thieves had a lot of issues last year, so hopefully that all got worked out with this current roster, moves they made, bringing in Envoy and Octane. But I do think LA Thieves could be a top 3, top 4 team all year long, like I said. But I don't think right now, after what we've seen, they are better than the 3 teams above them. Now, coming in at number 3, I have the Seattle Surge. I think Seattle is a really, really good team, and I think you could argue that maybe even being a second place team currently. But based on what we saw from these other 2 teams that are above them last season, I find it a little bit hard after one kickoff event to put them higher than them, which I think is reasonable. We saw a whole year of FaZe and Ultra last year. And we've only seen one event of the Seattle Surge. So I think without any other matches, with that being just preseason, teams holding back their strats, I think it's fair to put Surge at number 3. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. But I think it's fair to go from literally 10th last year to 3rd, just like that after one event, that jump. I think that's great. But with that being said, our 2 and 1 spots are going to be FaZe and Ultra. Yes, FaZe didn't look good at the kickoff event, but obviously that was a preseason event. I'm not going to, I'm taking that with a grain of salt. And Ultra looked great all of last year, and then they won the kickoff event. So I think, with that being said, that should put Ultra at number 1, obviously. If whoever wins the preseason event should probably be at number 1. I think that's fair. I just think Ultra is the best team currently, and I think they can be the best team all year long. I think FaZe is going to really show out in their matches and come into Major 1, firing on all cylinders. And I think this is a fair 1 through 12 power ranking of the CDL. I didn't want to do this in a tier list format because I feel like, for me personally, I think tier lists can be kind of boring. I kind of know where everyone fits in the tiers, but I want to know where you think they are 1 through 12. I really want people to put a ranking on these, and that's what I'm going to be doing in these videos. I also have these arrows, which I'll be using as teams move up or down based on where they are each week, so we can see, oh wow, Atlanta FaZe fell, Mutineers moved up, stuff like that. So those arrows will be used in every other week after this, considering there are changes. If for some reason after all the matches I think this is the same ranking, then there won't be any arrows because no one's moving up or down. But that is the way this is going to work going forward. Thank you all so much for watching the first power ranking videos of the 2022 CDL season. If you did like this, drop a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next video.